This is Joy Jinks on the Dynamic Aging Radio Show on Now Time Radio. I'm so excited because I just visited the Atlanta Botanical Garden. I had the best time, even if we were paddling around in the rain. What struck me was over the entrance were the words, "Not what we have, but what we enjoy constitutes our abundance." I'm going to say that again. Not what we have, but what we enjoy constitutes our abundance. You've always heard about Epicureans because they're noted for their enjoyment of life, especially the sensuous pleasures, eating and drinking and other things. But what struck me was that our abundance is not measured in our money, but in our enjoyment. Because you, like I have known many people who have plenty of wealth, but they're not particularly happy because they don't know how to enjoy things. Now, at the Botanical Garden, the title of the exhibition was The Curious Garden, and it was curious, all right. It was a curious, funny title, and it was a curious, funny exhibit. It was designed to make us stop and think and ask questions, because there were painted trees interspersed everywhere among the greenery and the flowers. These painted trees were actually trees that were painted hot pink colors. They weren't just pastels. And they were painted with chartreuse green and yellow and hot pink and even purple. And they had been cut out of a maple grove that were planted by a nursery. They had been harvested, and rather than just throwing them away, they were used to decorate the botanical garden. And, you would be walking along and see this hot pink tree hanging upside down among the greenery, and you wonder, what in the world is that for? What is this all about? The designer was a man named Adam Sherman, and his purpose was to arouse your curiosity and make you look more closely and be surprised and delighted. And isn't that, after all, that the purpose of a garden, to surprise and delight you? Even in the orchid house, there were these 5-foot-tall plastic cylinders full of hot pink water and purple water that were making you look more closely. And among the greenery of the mosses were beautiful chains painted in colors to make you take more careful notice. It reminded me that we walk through life so many times not really looking at things. And this particular exhibit made us really look and ask questions. And it was such a feast for our eyes and our senses. And after all, isn't that what a garden is all about? A feast for our eyes and our senses. I've always loved gardening. I don't do much of it anymore because I just am to the point in life where it's not something I can do. But my husband's mother was an avid gardener, and when we moved into her house about 15 years ago, I moved into the midst of a beautiful English boxwood garden and a magnificent camellia garden. In the South, we talk about our yards being in our backyard, our gardens are in the front yard, our lawns are our gardens. So we use these words rather interchangeably, which I think is very interesting. We speak about the flower garden around the house and the lawn as the yard, and the place where we grow our vegetables as a garden. This time of the year, I cultivate plants that I really enjoy for their color, and some that can stand the summer heat of southwest Georgia. The zinnias and coleus and New Guinea impatiens and begonias and sunflowers and black-eyed Susans and hydrangeas and daylilies and on and on. And I like these because it allows me to keep a small bouquet of flowers in the house all the time, and I can enjoy them no matter where I am in my house. I want to take just a moment to tell you about something very special and to invite you to come and be with us. That is the Building Creative Communities Conference that will take place in Colquitt, Georgia, January 25th through 28th in 2018. The theme this year is the art of social change, creativity, collaboration, and community. And when you come and take part, your creativity will be inspired. You will learn to collaborate with so many new, interesting, dynamic people, and you will build a community among these people to take your vision into the world. To learn more about the Building Creative Communities Conference, visit our website, www.bccconference-colquittgeorgia.com.
George Washington Carver was a botanist and inventor. He was one of the most prominent scientists and inventors of his time.
From the most humble beginnings as a slave to great renown as a scientist who revolutionized the peanut industry through his work at Tuskegee Institute, which is now Tuskegee University. He's greatly to be honored. And I love the quote that he said. He says, "I love to think of nature as an unlimited broadcast station through which God speaks to us every hour if we are willing to listen." So gardening is a spiritual activity. We cannot be true gardeners without recognizing the mystery of nature and the mystery of God's hand in making things grow, in the sun and the rain, and the miracle of the sun turning the leaves into chlorophyll and breathing out the oxygen that we need to survive. It's truly a miracle. I love this quote by Sister Christine. "There's nothing more spiritual than watching what you planted. You nurture it, and God provides the sun and the rain and helps it to grow. You see the absolute mystery in what God has given to us in growing things, and also absolute beauty. There's beauty in the simplest of things, the flowers, the bark of a tree even. Sometimes it just behooves us to stop and look." So as a regular part of our spiritual practice, let's stop and pay attention and look and glory in the beauty of it all.
You have been listening to Joy Jinks. Joy is the author of Dynamic Aging, I Intend to Live Forever, So Far, So Good. She is also the host of Dynamic Aging on Now Time Radio.